What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Ethereum today, ETH USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 25th day of October. Here we are with about 9 hours and 11 minutes left in the day, sitting here just below $4,000. Consolidating, dealing with the aftermath of this voluptuous crash we had on the 10th here. We're actually in a nice kind of symmetrical triangle right here. Higher lows, lower highs, the whole shebang. It's amusing watching people get very bearish at the lows and very bullish at the highs. As we get higher lows and higher highs, people are just seemingly more bullish and more bearish, and we aren't really validating either direction yet. I do believe that we'll break out to the upside. However, there is a possibility, a scenario where with this triangle, let me just delete all this stuff. I thought I had the lines there, but with this triangle, we break out to the downside and then we break up, right? People are going to think, oh my God, we broke these diagonal lines that don't mean anything at all. And that means we're going lower. That means it's the end of the bull market. But then as soon as we do, that'll probably be where we actually, they max short and we max long. We go through the roof. It's possible that something like that happens. So again, just addressing this. I'm not calling for this to happen. This is not the call. I'm not going to brag about this if this happens. But if we break this trend line, it's not a big deal. It's probably a prime buying signal, if anything. So just be aware of that. 1 hour time frame, zooming way in here, looking at this now. There is some volume coming in, right? We've got some volume, various spikes of volume here. At the high, kind of at a midpoint here, and at the lows, we had some volume. At the high points here and at the high points there was some volume. It looks like we just keep climbing higher, which is nice to see. RSI does look productive overall, right? We're getting overbought right here, overbought consistently, not getting oversold, barely even bounce. You're just getting to the 40 and then rejecting it immediately, moving up from there. You're at the 50 now, prime area to bounce, but you could come down lower and still be fine. So again, if we go lower from here, we're at 39, 36 right now. If we go lower from here, who cares? It's not a big deal. Looking at the stochastics, suggestive that we go lower. The MACD is even suggestive that we go lower. So I think that that's a good call to make. We probably do see Ethereum pull back from here. We probably do go down a little bit. So low to high, where might we go? Let's call for 3,900. 3,900 at least. 3,800 3,800 at the most. We'll go down here or something like that. Would that break us out? Would 39 to 3,800 break us out? Let's look at the 4 hour time frame. Right, so you've got like these lows here. Whoops. Let's imagine that we're just your average degen. What, you'd probably draw like that, maybe? Would you use these lines back here? Would you use those points back there? Would it be more like this? Maybe you'd bring the line down overall, something like this. So no, 3,800 would not do it, I don't think. 3,800 wouldn't be enough. Even here, 3,800 probably not enough. Okay, so cool. 3,800 to $3,900. That's where we're gonna go. Something in that. We're at 39.35 now, so nothing too crazy. A little bit lower first. We're on the 1 hour time frame, or we were on the 1 hour time frame. So this should resolve itself quickly. It is Saturday. It is the weekend, so perhaps by the end of tomorrow, Sunday, we find our support at 3,900 to 3,800, and then we continue to move higher. I do expect that next week, Monday, going into next week, we should be moving up. Absolutely, I very much expect that. Looking at the relevant high here to this relevant low. We are showing respect. What about this low? I like this one more. I think this is the real low. I think that was the scam wick low, so we're not going to count that low. It would make sense to me that after we find support, probably closer to 3,900 than 3,800. After we find support, we probably do rally right up to the golden ratio. So as early as Monday or Tuesday, I would expect Ethereum is at $4,300 to $4,400. That's my expectation. We'll probably get right above this high and then find turbulence, pull back, and then continue to rally. That'd be the expectation overall. So something between 43, let's even up the ante a little bit, $4,300 to $4,500. That's what I would expect to happen. We have interacted with the golden ratio once, so the odds of us breaking through the golden ratio this time are definitely there. Maybe even 4,600 is possible, right? 45, 4,600 definitely possible targets, but wouldn't it be perfect if we stopped in the golden ratio just above this high? As soon as we get above that high, people go mass long, and then we pull back, clear out all the longs, pile on the shorts, and then we actually make the move. Wouldn't it be perfect? Don't get hurt if we do turn around at 43 to 4,400, but I do believe probably over the coming days here, maybe not tomorrow, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that, we should see 44, 4,300 come into play, if not higher. 4 hour indicators. The RSI looks good here, looks productive. Higher lows overall, right? Productive, looking like you want to get overbought. You can find a little turbulence here, but again, the amount of downside potential that we have is very minimal. Stochastics, to be fair, would suggest that we go lower as well, but maybe we bounce at the 50. We've done that a few times, or at least around the 50, maybe just below the 50. And the MACD here is crossing above the 0, which is nice. This is exactly what we want to see. We talked about this, I think, yesterday or the day before, that we'd be crossing here. But sometimes, and oftentimes enough, once you cross above the 0 on the MACD, that's actually on the 4-hour time frame. That's actually a point to consolidate. So maybe we do consolidate today, the rest of today, and into tomorrow, Sunday, and then late Sunday or Monday we start to recover and move higher. I do believe that we are going to see this cross come to full term, come full term, or come to fruition. It's going to happen. I expect this cross to happen, and with that cross, we should see some expansion in the price, right? Just like we did here, just like we did there. So I would think that we do 43, 4400s an easy target to assume. 45 to 4600 is also very possible. Again, as early as Monday, if not, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. The FOMC announcement where they talk about cutting interest rates, that is on Wednesday, the 29th. And then on the 30th, Xi and Trump are meeting to discuss a play date or something. I don't know. They're going golfing or swimming together or something like that. It should be interesting. Looking at the daily time frame, of course, I'm joking there, guys. They're going to talk about trades and stuff like that. Hopefully, that benefit the economy for everybody. The RSI on the daily time frame is bearish. Overall, it is very bearish. We're actually getting oversold. We're not getting overbought. That is bearish, but you've taken a bearish scenario like this, and you're actually showing some productivity. You're getting higher lows, which is nice to see. You're finding support on the 40, which is nice to see. You rejected the 50. That's not nice, but at least you didn't go to the oversold zone, so you are showing resilience here. Stochastics bounced right off the oversold zone. This look right here makes me think that undeniably we're going to go to the overbought zone before we see any kind of downside. I really do believe that that's the low point. I don't think we go below there. The MACD is bullish divergence, or at least is starting to build some bullish momentum. And the RSI, again, looks like it wants to go up as well. So maybe not. I do think that by the end of this month, we're going to see some life. Absolutely. I think that we're going to continue to move up going into the end of this month because of the play date that Trump and Xi have, and then the FOMC meeting as well, where Jerome Powell will discuss things with everybody. I think we'll definitely pump going into the end of this month, but I think just thinking when we'll be overbought, it'll be sometime in early November, likely. It'll be sometime in early November that Ethereum does really start to break away from this range, and that we do see higher prices come in, okay? So this next week I think will be exciting, but the real exciting stuff is going to happen once the RSI is overbought, once the stochastics are overbought, once the MACD on the daily is crossed above the 0, and we're flipped green. All that stuff is set to happen, it looks like, more in November than over this next week. And in which case, again, we can anticipate higher prices. We are going to break out here. We are going to see new all-time highs. Overall, we're in a very massive consolidation phase. We're on the brink of breaking out of it, right? The proof is in the pudding. We moved up here. We saw higher prices now than we have all cycle. We're right at our all-time high area. We didn't reject down immediately, right? We didn't sell off like we did back here. No, we're just consolidating right above our prior resistance points. Right here at prior resistance points and prior resistance points back here. We're just consolidating in this area, ready to rally. That's what's happening. Have we done this before? Kind of like this. Actually, very, very similar to this here. A little bit different, but very similar, okay? Here you had support right there, resistance right there, okay? You're consolidating right below this point, right at this point, right where there's resistance here, and you're actually finding support right where the prior resistance was, right there. Very similar, right? You had a nice move up, but then afterwards you broke out, and that move afterwards was a lot larger. I think that we're going to see a larger move come into play here after this as well. From a high to a low. The expectation here, at least on my behalf, is that Ethereum will see something on the lines of like an $8,000 price and probably just above there. We've actually made sense out of seeing $10,000 by the end of this year as well, if not certainly sometime in January. And I think by the end of the cycle, Ethereum will see a $14,000 to $27,000 price overall. Golden ratio to the 200 level here. I doubt that we go higher. I mean, if we were to go higher, the next target area would be like 45,000, 43,000, something like that. But I can't imagine Ethereum being worth that much. I mean, how much would Ethereum be worth if we did that? That's about an 11x. That would be like $5 trillion, right? That's crazy. That's crazy, guys. Yeah, I don't. Bitcoin's going to be at 10 trillion by the end of the cycle. I don't think Ethereum is going to be half that. No, I don't think so. Right? What's ETH BTC looking like? Hold on. Let's just see. Let's play with this because I've genuinely never considered that we'd actually go up here because it just seems ludicrous, right? $5 trillion. Come on, get out of here. It seems crazy. But let's just see how crazy it is. Can ETH BTC go to 50% of a Bitcoin? Probably not. Or I guess this is versus its price, not versus its market cap, though. Ooh, can we do that? Can we? Let's see. Ethereum. Crypto ecosystem market cap. Interesting. So this includes that's an interesting chart. I might have to look at that later, but let's see. Ethereum. Where are we? Where's the market cap? Market cap here. ETH versus BTC's market cap. Where are you? All right, let's do it. Let's do it, SA. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so 21%. This is all the way up at 50%. Oh, wow. Wow, so we've actually seen 50% of Bitcoin's market cap before. Maybe we could, that'd be crazy, guys. That'd be crazy. But that was at our all-time high last cycle, we were at 50% of Bitcoin's market cap. Man, is Charlie Lee or Tom Lee, whatever is the guy that's in support of Ethereum, not the Litecoin creator. I think it's Charlie Lee. Is he right in assuming that Ethereum is the next play? Like, what if we went? I really don't think we're going here, but I'm just entertaining the thought to even see if it's possible. And we've come to find in this conclusion that yes, it actually is possible. If Bitcoin goes to $500,000, it is absolutely possible that Ethereum could see this price 45K, 43K. I've never said that. I've never once accepted it as a possibility. I'm still very much a proponent of a $14,000 to $27,000 Ethereum price. We make a lot of sense out of this, but you never know, man. You never know. Anyways, guys, I don't have anything else that I want to talk about. Beyond the long-term stuff, beyond the Moon Boy stuff there, $40,000 ETH, could you believe it, man? That'd be crazy. Man, that would be insane. Could you imagine what altcoins do? Nobody's bullish enough. But we're probably going to see a $14,000 to $26,000 ETH. That'd be my guess. Probably something closer to 20K by the end of the cycle, sometime in April or May. Beyond all the long-term stuff, though, here at 39.30, I think that we do see a little turbulence, just a little turbulence maybe between today and tomorrow. And then going into the end of the month, we should see some growth. Going into November, we should see some growth. Going into the end of the year, we should see some growth. It's going to be smooth sailing between now and then. I got nothing else. Hit the like button, subscribe. Take care of yourselves. Thank you all. Bye-bye.